The Garrett and Sherman families were bound by an alliance. The governor himself had arranged the marriage. His decree was final and could not be changed. Alex's parents collapsed when they learned his sister had vanished. They regained consciousness and took Alex's hands. Their eyes were filled with sheer panic. They told Alex that the family was counting on him. Alex assured his parents that he understood completely. He had already sent people to find his sister. He promised they would locate her within 3 days. His mother then shared some devastating news. The Garrett family's deployment was in 3 days. The wedding had been moved up to tomorrow. Alex was stunned by this revelation. He had just returned from a work audit. It was only in the neighboring county of Rockland. He wondered why no one had sent him a simple text. His father looked at him with a guilty expression. He admitted they knew Alex was returning today. They thought it was simpler not to message him. Alex scoffed and pulled his hands away. They changed the date without informing him. Now they came to him with their problem. He reminded them of his sister's wild personality. He announced he was leaving for another audit. He told them he could not manage their affairs. As he turned to leave, his mother grabbed his sleeve. She cried that his sister ditching the wedding was treason. It would mean total ruin for their family. Alex massaged his temples in frustration. He asked what they wanted him to do. Finding his sister in 1 day was impossible. He suggested they ask the Garretts for a delay. His mother explained the invitations were already sent. His father added the deployment made it impossible. Alex felt a wave of dizziness. He sarcastically offered to fake his own death. At least one family member might survive that way. His father was horrified by the thought. He begged Alex not to abandon his parents. Alex freed his leg from his father's grasp. He asked what other option they had. His sister was the only daughter in the family. There was no one to take her place. He joked that he could not possibly marry Marcus. The room fell silent for a tense second. His parents looked at each other. They spoke in perfect unison. They thought it was an excellent idea. Alex was a head taller than his sister. Her wedding dress would never fit him. His parents urgently called the family's tailor. The tailor worked to lengthen the gown. She finally shook her head with a troubled look. She told them any more alterations would look strange. The dress could not be widened any further. She suggested the young master skip a few meals. Alex met his parents' pleading eyes. He told his father that he should go instead. His father was shorter and had lost weight. The dress would be a perfect fit for him. His father's eyes widened in fury. He declared Alex was grounded from dinner that night. Alex was not overweight at all. In fact, his constant travel for work kept him lean. But a man's frame is different from a woman's. He knew he would burst the seams of Lily's dress. He sighed and collapsed onto his bed. He felt completely overwhelmed by the situation. He had already agreed to this insane plan. He decided the dress was not his problem. He would let his parents worry about it. The afternoon sunlight streamed through the window. Exhausted from his travels, he slowly drifted asleep. He opened his eyes to a pair of sharp, upturned irises. The man looked surprised to see him awake. A rare warmth in his eyes vanished instantly. It was replaced by a familiar, roguish charm. Caleb Garrett said the bride's brother was finally up. Caleb was Marcus Garrett's younger brother. He was usually serious and reserved with others. But with Alex, he was always flippant and bold. Alex had filed several complaints against him. Yet Caleb never seemed to learn his lesson. He always came back to pester Alex. With the wedding approaching, Caleb's teasing had evolved. He no longer called Alex Mr. Sherman. He now smugly referred to him as my brother's brother-in-law. Alex had a headache and ignored him. He gestured toward the door for Caleb to leave. Caleb feigned a look of heartbreak. He whined that they would be family tomorrow. He asked why Alex was still so cold. Alex's head was spinning. He scrambled off the bed and walked out. He shut the door before Caleb could follow. He told Caleb to stay if he wanted. He had things to do and no time for him. From inside, Caleb's voice was casual but loaded. He asked if Alex was running because he was scared. The next day, Alex was woken before dawn. A team of stylists bustled around him. They did his hair and makeup. They squeezed him into the altered wedding dress. They placed a heavy veil over his head. Finally, they pushed him into the waiting limousine. The car moved slowly through the city. The sounds of celebration were a dull roar outside. His head felt foggy and he dozed off again. The car eventually stopped at the Garrett estate. The surrounding noise died down for a moment. A slender, strong hand reached into the car. It firmly gripped his own. Alex was instantly awake and alert. He let the hand guide him out of the car. He was led toward the grand hall. Guests cheered and applauded around them. He overheard a few hushed comments. Someone noted the bride seemed a bit large. Another whispered she looked rather strong. Cold sweat trickled down his back. He tried to slouch, bending his neck and knees. He wanted to appear smaller and shorter. A woman remarked on the bride's impressive height. She wondered how the Shermans raised such a healthy daughter. A man's voice boomed that a strong build was good. He commented on her hips, saying she looked fertile. Alex stumbled, nearly falling to the ground. Through the shifting veil, he saw Caleb's face. Caleb's expression shifted from confusion to shock. His mouth opened slightly. His eyes widened in disbelief. Alex quickly made a hushing gesture with his finger. Caleb froze, retracting his half-taken step. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He had just arrived and was already recognized. He wondered how he would survive this. He needed to find his sister immediately. The ceremony was an exhausting blur of procedures. Finally, he was escorted to the bridal suite. The moment the door closed, he tore off the veil. He unzipped the suffocating dress, gasping for air. He felt like he had been holding his breath for hours. One more second and he might have passed out. He found some appetizers and ate a few bites. Then he sat down properly on the bed. He decided to wait for Marcus to arrive. He would explain everything then. He and Marcus had a professional history. A few years ago, Alex had exposed corrupt officials. This had helped secure vital supplies for the Garretts. He hoped Marcus would be understanding. He waited and waited, but Marcus never came. The sky outside turned completely dark. He could not bear the tight clothes any longer. He undid the remaining buttons of the dress. The fabric felt restrictive and painful. Just then, a soft knock came from the door. Caleb's voice sounded from the other side. He asked his sister-in-law to open the door. It was him, Caleb. Alex froze. That troublemaker had leverage now. He was surely here to cause problems. Caleb did not wait for an answer. He pushed the door open and walked in. He smelled faintly of expensive whiskey. He seemed different from his usual arrogant self. There was a quiet sadness about him. He walked closer, his eyes lowered. His voice was low and full of disappointment. He said he was not weak, sister-in-law. He just felt sick seeing her marry his brother. Alex was speechless. He thought Caleb was just being dramatic. Calling him brother-in-law wasn't enough. Now he got to call him sister-in-law. And what was this about being sick? He wondered if Caleb had a crush on his sister. Was this some kind of forbidden romance drama? Before Alex could say anything sarcastic, Caleb leaned down. He lifted Alex's chin, their foreheads touching. His voice was filled with pain and confusion. He whispered Alex's real name, Alex Sherman. He asked why Marcus could have him, but he could not. They were both men, so what was the difference? Caleb seemed truly drunk now. His words flowed more freely than ever. He gently brushed his cheek against Alex's. Then he moved to kiss Alex's lips. Alex was startled and quickly turned his head. He told Caleb to snap out of it. He yelled that Caleb knew who he was. Why was he still trying to kiss him? Seeing Alex pull away seemed to hurt Caleb more. His eyes glistened with unshed tears. He said Alex could marry his brother. Yet he wouldn't even let Caleb touch him. He reminded Alex they had known each other longer. He confessed his love for Alex. He lamented that Alex never once looked his way. Alex was completely stunned by this. He thought, "This guy actually loves me?" He was dazed. He raised a hand to slap Caleb back to his senses. But Caleb caught his wrist easily. He pushed Alex back against the headboard. In that exact moment, Marcus pushed the door open. He froze, taking in the scene before him. "Caleb, what are you doing?" Marcus's voice was low and dangerous. "She is your brother's wife." From his angle, he could only see Caleb. He could not see Alex's face clearly. He must have assumed it was his sister, Lily. Caleb used the confusion to steal a quick kiss. He planted it on Alex's cheek. Then he straightened up and spoke defiantly. He asked Marcus why he was yelling. He pointed out he was getting off his sister-in-law. Marcus was speechless with rage. He strode forward and pulled Caleb away. Caleb resisted, refusing to leave. He argued that the bride did not seem to like Marcus. He reminded Marcus that he knew her first. Alex saw Marcus clench his fists. He looked ready to punch his own brother. But some sense of restraint held him back. He spoke through gritted teeth. "Caleb, get out now. I will let this go." Caleb shot back. He said the unloved one is the third wheel. Marcus finally lost his patience. He raised his hand to strike him. Alex quickly intervened, grabbing his arm. He did not want to cause a rift between them. That would be a truly terrible outcome. Marcus suppressed his anger. He turned to Alex with a gentle voice. "Lily," he began, "don't be afraid. I'll handle him quickly. You just wait." His voice trailed off. "You, Alex Sherman?" Alex gave a sheepish laugh to ease the tension. He told Marcus it was a long story. He asked him not to hit his brother yet. The drunken Caleb squeezed between them. He looked like he was about to cry. "Brother," he sobbed to Marcus, "I know I'm not a good brother, but you promised me anything I wanted as kids. You said you would even get me the stars." He asked why that promise didn't apply now. He whined about Marcus stealing his love. But he argued that for scholars it isn't theft. They were all one big family. Marcus delivered a sharp chop to Caleb's neck. Caleb crumpled to the floor, unconscious. Alex looked at Marcus's dark expression. He swallowed nervously. He carefully explained the entire situation. Marcus listened in silence for a long time. Alex watched him, then added a few more words. He explained it was a temporary swap. He clarified that his sister would still marry him. She just had other things to do right now. She would arrive in a couple of days. Marcus asked if she would definitely arrive. Alex thought about the latest report from his team. His sister had run away days ago. Her parents just hadn't noticed. She was now near the Canadian border. It would take a while to get her back. He forced another awkward laugh. He admitted it might not be a couple of days. Could possibly be a month. Thinking of his sister's stubbornness, he revised again. Or maybe 2 months. Or 3 or 4. Marcus closed his eyes, looking utterly exhausted. "Fine. We'll wait for her to return." He asked Alex to help him hide this from his parents. They were old and their health was fragile. They just wanted to see him settled before his deployment. His words meant he accepted the arrangement. Alex felt a wave of relief. He glanced at the unconscious Caleb on the floor. He asked what to do about him. Marcus glanced at his brother with a dark look. He decided not to tell Caleb the truth yet. That kid was completely out of control. Besides, Marcus added, this is a good chance. You can see his true feelings. See what? What feelings? Alex was confused. Did Caleb really have feelings for him? Marcus dragged his unconscious brother out of the room. Lily's personal assistant, Sarah, entered. She and Alex looked at each other awkwardly. Sir, she began about Mr. Caleb. Alex waved his hand, feeling drained. Let's not talk about him now. He told her he didn't need any help. She could prepare a bed in the next room. He would need her help tomorrow. There would be times he couldn't speak freely. He would have to borrow her voice. Marcus's parents were old military veterans. They had served the country for decades. Years of service had taken a toll on their health. Their eyesight was also failing. That was why Marcus wanted to marry. He wanted to give his parents some peace of mind. He never expected Lily to run away. Alex sighed and lay down, still in his clothes. The next morning, he changed into clothes from Marcus. He washed up and got ready for the day. Sarah skillfully applied his makeup. He looked in the mirror. He was surprised by the resemblance. He looked almost exactly like his sister. Sarah praised his features. She said if he were a woman, suitors would break down their door. Alex uncomfortably adjusted the fake chest padding. He lifted his skirt and walked out with Sarah. Marcus was waiting for him in the courtyard. He looked Alex up and down, then nodded. This will be enough to fool my parents. He told Alex to stay quiet. He would do all the talking. They walked through several corridors and courtyards. Finally, they approached the main hall. They could hear Caleb's loud voice from a distance. Mom, Dad, you're playing favorites. As they got closer, his words became clearer. Why can Marcus marry him, but I can't? Mrs. Garrett sounded confused. Your brother's marriage is a perfect match. Why shouldn't it happen? Caleb's voice rose in disbelief. Perfect match? That's not what you said before. He reminded her of a past conversation. When I said I liked him, you were horrified. You told me to get out of your sight. He sounded deeply hurt. Now, the person I love is married to my brother. And you're all okay with it? Mr. Garrett was completely lost. What are you even talking about? Your brother is marrying Miss Sherman. What does that have to do with you? He reminded Caleb of his own confession. You had a crush on her brother, the auditor. A man like that would never be with you. Caleb fell to his knees dramatically. He grabbed his father's legs. Dad, the person my brother married is... Marcus strode into the hall. He pulled his kneeling brother to his feet. What's all this noise? Mom and Dad are still recovering. They can't handle your theatrics. Caleb saw Alex enter behind Marcus. His expression turned even more tragic. He opened his mouth to speak. Marcus quickly covered it with his hand. Mom, Dad, I've brought my wife to serve you tea. Caleb struggled against his brother's hand. What wife? That's my Alex. Marcus turned his gaze on him. What? Caleb, do you like Lily too? Caleb mumbled against the hand. What Lily, that's my A. Marcus blocked his mouth again. Caleb, be careful what you say. Lily is now my wife. Are you trying to steal her from me? Do you want to be a homewrecker? Caleb looked utterly wronged. Brother, it breaks my heart when you say that. He asked if it was his fault. If you think this is wrong, just divorce her. Let me have her, and then I won't be a homewrecker. Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were speechless. Marcus was silent. Alex was completely baffled. He couldn't believe Caleb's twisted logic. The entire hall was deadly quiet. You could hear a pin drop. After a long moment, Mr. Garrett exploded. "Insolent child! Get out of my house!" Caleb was grounded by his father. Marcus was leaving for his deployment the next day. Today he had to report to the military base. Before he left, he made a request to Alex. He asked him to please take care of his parents. Alex nodded in agreement. Every morning he would go to the main hall. Using Sarah's voice, he would greet the Garretts. Then he would shed his female disguise. He would change into his suit and go to work. His life became even more hectic than before. One day, after greeting the parents, he ran into Caleb. Caleb had just been released from his punishment. He looked at Alex with a complex expression. He must have sobered up completely. He did not say anything outrageous this time. He politely greeted his parents. Then he walked out of the hall with Alex. After a short distance, he reverted to his old self. He shot Alex a sarcastic look. "I never thought I'd see the great Alex Sherman so subservient." Alex just shrugged. Caleb seemed annoyed by his lack of reaction. Aren't you ashamed of yourself?" Alex replied with a flat, "Yes, I am." Caleb flicked his sleeve in frustration and stormed off. Alex let out a sigh of relief. Marcus had told him to observe Caleb's true heart. This boy's attitude didn't seem like love at all. He concluded Caleb was faking it. He was probably just devising new ways to torment him. Alex tried to convince himself of this, but a strange feeling lingered in his heart. Caleb had slowed his pace down the hall. Alex, lost in thought, nearly bumped into him. He quickly slowed down as well. He put some distance between them. Caleb's face darkened. "Are you that afraid of me? Are you avoiding me?" Alex denied it. He said that as a new bride, he should keep his distance from his brother-in-law. Caleb got even angrier. He pointed at Alex, unable to form a sentence. Seeing him so flustered was surprisingly satisfying. Now Alex understood why Caleb loved to tease him. Bullying people was apparently quite fun. An urgent report arrived from the front lines. Marcus Garrett had been poisoned. His life hung in the balance. Without a commander, the troops were losing ground. A grim mood fell over the capital. Alex, however, had a light workload. His days were relatively quiet. After work, he would visit the Garretts with Sarah. He had caught a cold 2 days ago. He was recovering in Marcus's old room. He hadn't even been to see the elder Garretts. Caleb kept the news from his parents. He spent his days training relentlessly at the base. Near dusk, Caleb was summoned to the governor's mansion. He returned very late at night. Alex listened to the wind howling outside. He couldn't sleep soundly. He sensed the moment his door was pushed open. He gripped the dagger under his pillow. He pretended to be fast asleep. The person approached his bed. In the faint moonlight, he recognized Caleb. His tense body finally relaxed. Caleb reached out to touch his forehead. His fingertips were icy cold. The touch made Alex shiver. "You're awake?" Caleb asked, his voice hoarse. Alex pushed his hand away. He told Caleb not to touch people with cold hands. Could make a sick person even sicker. Caleb seemed surprised. He touched his own face. "Sorry, I didn't realize." A chill seemed to cling to his entire body. He looked weary and desolate. Alex pulled a heating pad from under the covers. He shoved it into Caleb's hands. He told him to go rest. He did not want Caleb to catch his cold. Caleb took the heating pad but did not leave. He moved even closer to the bed. Alex was about to scold him, but Caleb spoke first. "Alex Sherman, I'm leaving for the front tonight." He paused, his voice hesitant. "Before I go, can I?"
Kan Yukio.
Alex's grip on the blanket tightened. Leaving tonight? That was so sudden. He knew Caleb would have to go. He just didn't expect it to be so soon. Caleb saw his hesitation. His eyes dimmed. His voice held a pleading tone. Please, Alex? Just one hug. Just for a moment. His eyes were red. It was unclear if it was for Alex or for his brother far away. They had been rivals since childhood. Now they were both young men. The carefree days were long gone. The weight of a nation's security now rested on his shoulders. Alex's tight grip finally loosened. He looked at Caleb and managed a small smile. He opened his arms and embraced him. Caleb, please come back alive. He urged him to work with his brother. He told them both to come back safe and whole. Caleb hugged him tightly. The force was immense. Felt like he was trying to merge them into one. After a long moment, he let go. He turned and walked away without looking back. His figure was resolute. Alex rearranged his blankets, ready to sleep. But just as he settled in, the door opened again. The person who had just left returned. He swiftly embraced Alex from behind. Don't turn around, sister-in-law. It's me, your husband. Alex was bewildered. It seemed the war wasn't that urgent after all. This idiot still had time for jokes. Caleb released him and gently turned him around. He quickly planted a kiss on Alex's forehead. The vulnerability from moments ago was gone. He had a triumphant, fox-like smile. Admit it, Alex Sherman. You were worried about me. Before Alex could curse at him, he explained. Marcus had sent a message. The poison was treated and he was fine. Caleb's deployment was just for real-world training. Then he dropped a bombshell. And you can stop looking for your sister. She's with my brother. Alex's mind went blank. Caleb gently turned his face forward again. He lightly touched Alex's lips. His expression was dark and intense. You and my brother tricked me for so long. When I get back, I'll settle this account with you. Alex was still dazed as Caleb tucked him into bed. He looked up to see a sleepy Sarah. She had been woken by the noise. She saw Alex safe in bed and looked confused. She mumbled about hearing voices. Then she yawned and went back to her room. Alex wiped a bead of sweat from his forehead. If a real intruder had come, Sarah would be useless. The Garrett estate was clearly a dangerous place. Now Caleb was gone too. Who knew when an enemy might strike? The elder Garretts could defend themselves. The estate had plenty of guards. But Alex was a civilian administrator. He and the slow-witted Sarah were vulnerable. The thought terrified him. He got dressed and woke Sarah up. She looked at him, completely lost. Sir. Alex's face was serious. For our own safety, we have to leave. He told her to pack some valuables. They were escaping immediately. They fled back to the Sherman house that night. Before he could sleep, news of an attack at the Garrett estate arrived. His parents were awake. The courtyard was brightly lit. Dozens of family guards were assembled. They were preparing to rescue him. Alex quickly emerged from his room. He told them he was back and safe. He urged them not to go. He assured them the Garretts were well protected. His parents were finally relieved. His mother's hands were still trembling. She pulled him close. She announced they would all sleep in the main hall. She had already prepared everything. There had been many incidents in the city lately. It was safer for them to stick together. Just then, someone knocked on the main gate. The guards immediately raised their weapons. Alex's father cautiously approached the gate. He asked who was there. A respectful voice answered from outside. Mr. Sherman, we were sent by Mr. Caleb. We are here to protect Auditor Sherman. Please open the gate. Caleb had sent men to protect him? He hadn't seen anyone before. As if reading his mind, the man continued. He explained they were elite guards from the military base. By the time they reached the Garrett estate, Alex had already left. Alex was taken aback. He had escaped too early. The Garretts missed him terribly after he left. They came to visit the Sherman house on the third day. The good news was they brought a dozen more bodyguards. The bad news was, once again, no one told him. He came home from work in his official suit. He ran right into them in the foyer. "Mr. Garrett squinted his eyes. "Auditor Sherman, you're back?" He commented on the strong family resemblance. For a moment, he thought it was Lily in a suit. Alex wiped sweat from his brow. He discreetly waved for Sarah to disappear. He asked if the general was here to see Lily. Mrs. Garrett also looked at him strangely, but when she heard his voice, her confusion faded. "Yes, we haven't seen her in 2 days. We miss her." Alex's face turned grim. "I'm afraid you've made this trip for nothing." Mr. Garrett asked what he meant. Alex remembered Caleb's promise to settle accounts. He decided to set a little trap for him. He explained that his sister was worried about Marcus. She had left with Caleb 2 nights ago. She was on her way to the border. Mr. Garrett was furious. "Nonsense. This is utter nonsense." Mrs. Garrett was also angry at Caleb. "That reckless boy. I'll deal with him when he gets back." Then she took Alex's hand and apologized profusely. "I'm so sorry, Auditor Sherman. Your sister is such a delicate young lady." "Delicate? Her? The one impersonating his sister? But please don't worry, Auditor," she continued. "Both my sons are excellent fighters. They will definitely protect Lily." Alex just nodded. He said he was sure they would. Mrs. Garrett seemed relieved. Then her expression turned worried again. She said Alex should be more worried about himself. She asked if Caleb bothered him often. She explained that seeing Lily was not their only reason for visiting. They also wanted to talk about Caleb. What about him? Alex hoped they weren't here to play matchmaker. Mrs. Garrett spoke hesitantly. "Auditor Sherman, what do you think of our Caleb?" Alex, sticking to his professional integrity, gave a neutral reply. "He's adequate." Mr. Garrett rubbed his hands together. "What if I said we'd like to strengthen our family ties?" Alex felt a headache coming on. What did he think? He thought it was a terrible idea. He feigned dizziness. "General, my head suddenly hurts. I must go and rest." He said they could discuss Caleb some other time. With that, he fled the room. Sarah gave him a thumbs up and scurried away with him. Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were left standing there, bewildered. Mr. Garrett was confused. He just wanted to ask if the Shermans had any other eligible daughters. He wondered why Alex ran away so fast. Mrs. Garrett sighed. "Perhaps he doesn't like our boy." This was his polite way of rejecting us. The poisoning of Marcus Garrett was a serious matter. It also exposed a major corruption scandal. The military supply chain had been compromised. The Garrett brothers were not easygoing men. They were risking their lives at the front. Meanwhile, their support from the capital was failing. Anyone would be furious in their position. Marcus sent 3 consecutive reports to the capital. He demanded severe punishment for all involved officials. The investigation was initially assigned to another official, but the governor wanted to appease the Garrett family. He reassigned the case to Alex. The governor summoned Alex and his junior colleague, Ian. He gave them a long pep talk. He acknowledged their lack of frontline experience, but he stressed the situation was unique. The Garretts were loyal public servants. Mishandling this could alienate powerful allies. Alex and Ian exchanged a look. Alex suggested the original investigator join them. They could support each other. The governor gave a weak smile. The state's finances are a bit tight right now. He wanted the other official to seize assets from corrupt politicians. It was a way to refill the state's empty coffers. Alex and Ian were left speechless. The investigation was to be conducted covertly. It was also extremely urgent. Alex and Ian were rushed into a vehicle. They didn't even have time to go home. 2 bags were tossed through the car window. A staffer told them to take their supplies. It was their food for the journey. Alex opened his bag. He found a dozen pieces of dry, hard flatbread. He looked over at Ian. They both looked miserable. Ian's eyes were wide with despair. "Alex, are we sure this isn't exile?" Alex patted his shoulder. "Don't worry, my friend. Exiles don't get to ride in a car." The driver shouted for them to hold on. He cracked a whip and the car shot forward. Alex grabbed onto the seat to steady himself. Ian turned pale and looked like he might be sick. He groaned for the driver to slow down. Their chaotic journey had officially begun. 3 days later, they had grown accustomed to the driver's speed. The landscape outside was a constant blur. Ian was sorting through a batch of mail from the front. He opened one letter. It began with, "My dearest Alex." He opened another. Started the same way, "My dearest Alex." Ian looked up, confused. He told Alex the letters seemed strange. Alex assured him he was not mistaken. That lunatic Caleb had been writing to him constantly. He sent several letters a day. Alex had no idea how he located them so accurately. They always arrived right before lunch. The letters contained no important information. Caleb just asked if he was eating and sleeping well. Each one ended with the same line. "Thinking of you, loving you, hope to see you soon." Ian bravely finished opening all the letters. In the very last envelope, he found a real military report. He handed the thin sheets of paper to Alex. "Alex, I found a little bit of information. It was buried in a lot of nonsense." Alex took the papers. The report finally began differently. "All is well, victory after victory." The rest of the page was just Caleb boasting. He wrote about his incredible battlefield achievements. At the very bottom, he had drawn a small cartoon. It was a stick figure with hearts for eyes. It was another version of "I love you." Alex felt his head spin. He quickly folded the letter back into its envelope. Ian was sitting nearby, muttering to himself. He said that reading those letters must have absolved him of all his past sins. 5 days later, they finally reached the border region. The journey should have taken almost a month. Their driver had driven day and night. He had shortened the trip to just 8 days. The car was heavily padded. Otherwise, their bones would have been rattled apart. They got out of the car. They went straight to the main command tent. It was empty. Marcus and Caleb were both out on a mission. They had no choice but to start on their own. They had already identified 4 main suspects. They each took 2 targets. With the help of the governor's security team, they went to work. They climbed over walls into private compounds. They quietly searched the homes of their targets. They searched soldiers, then the local magistrate. As they slipped into the magistrate's compound, chaos erupted. The place exploded with activity. People were running everywhere. It was impossible to tell friend from foe. There were sounds of fighting all around. Blood splattered on the ground nearby. Alex hid in a corner and covered his eyes. A security agent stood silently in front of him. As a civilian, his first priority was survival. After a while, the fighting moved to another area. Only a few people remained nearby. Alex and his agent slipped into the study. They searched through everything they could find. In a hidden compartment, Alex found several letters. They were proof of treason. He was thrilled. He signaled for his agent to leave. But as he turned, a blade was at his neck. The magistrate stood there, his face twisted with rage. "Hand them over." He hissed that if Alex refused, he would enjoy making him pay. Alex immediately raised his hands. He tossed the letters on the floor. He even emptied his pockets to show they were empty. He made it clear he wasn't hiding anything. The magistrate was momentarily stunned. Alex wasn't some stubborn, heroic official. Survival was more important than pride. The magistrate gave a sinister laugh. "You've seen the letters. You still have to die." Alex protested that he hadn't read them completely. The magistrate didn't believe him. Alex admitted the situation was awkward. He accused the magistrate of being unreasonable. The magistrate, feeling the awkwardness, pressed the blade harder. The cold steel began to cut into Alex's skin. In that critical moment, a hand grabbed the blade. The magistrate was thrown across the room. Alex opened his eyes. He saw Caleb standing before him. The relief of seeing a familiar face was overwhelming. His legs gave out from under him. He started to slide to the floor. Caleb caught him and cleared a space on the desk. He gently set Alex down on it. His brow was furrowed with anger. "Why didn't you wait for me to come back?" Alex was still in shock and couldn't speak. He heard screams from outside. Caleb picked up the unconscious magistrate. He told Alex to stay put while he checked outside. Alex finally snapped out of his daze. He stumbled toward the door. Caleb closed it before he could follow. He could only speak to him through the wood. "Be careful," he said. Caleb leaned against the door and answered. His voice was a low hum. The vibration traveled through the door to Alex's hand. It sent a strange tingle up his arm. The security agent felt guilty for his lapse. He now stood by Alex's side, refusing to move. The sounds of fighting outside slowly faded. A light rain began to fall, chilling the air. The smell of blood filled the night. It mixed with the damp earth and cold wind. It seeped into the room, assaulting his senses. For the first time, Alex truly understood war. He realized how fragile life was. In the blink of an eye, it could be extinguished. Caleb pushed the door open. He was silhouetted against the dim light. He walked toward Alex. He held out his hand, his voice cheerful. "It's all taken care of." He smiled. "Mr. Sherman, I'm here to take you home." His usually playful eyes were now serious and reassuring. He was a mess, covered in dirt and grime. But to Alex, he looked like a hero. Alex managed a weak smile and took his hand. "Okay," he said. "Let's go home." Back at the military camp, Alex finally saw his sister. She was hovering around Marcus Garrett. She called him husband with great affection. When she saw Alex, she looked emotional. "Brother, you've suffered so much." She sighed. "If I had known Marcus was this handsome, I never would have run away." Caleb appeared at Alex's side. He looked at him with puppy dog eyes. "Alex, my hand really hurts. Can you help me with the bandage?" Alex closed his eyes and sighed. "Fine, let's go." In the dim light of the tent, he looked at Caleb's pouting face. He couldn't help but feel exasperated. "Stop pretending," he said. He reminded Caleb of an incident years ago. An assassin had cut him 3 times. He hadn't shed a single tear then. "Why are you faking it now?" Caleb leaned in close. He gently kissed the corner of Alex's mouth. "Don't be angry, Alex." He explained that he just wanted some sympathy. He hoped that if Alex felt sorry for him, he might agree to be with him. His eyes were curved in a smile, full of sincerity. Alex knew he didn't want a complicated life, but the feelings in his heart were undeniable. He had feelings for Caleb too. They had grown up together from toddlers to adults. Caleb had always been there for him. How could he have not seen it? The thought of spending his life with him, it filled his heart with a strange, unexpected joy. "Caleb," he said softly, "I agree." He told him to propose to his family when they returned.